everyone, it's Nikki and Jim. Oh, hey everyone, now it's Nikki and Jim, and we are keeping it real. We are keeping it real, obviously.
Very real. And we have been exploring Kitsap.
We have been exploring. We've been exploring Kitsap every single day because it's been sunny. It's beautiful out, but we are keeping it real today. So anyway, we have Carrie to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. She's going to tell us some really cool stuff. So let's bring Carrie Selby with Fairway Mortgage on. Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
I'm good. Just enjoying the sunshine like you guys, but I think the heat is melting my brain a little bit too.
I know, right?
Definitely. So like you said, there's some interesting things going on in the market. Last week, we were really looking for those May 10th numbers, and they came in where we wanted them to. But unfortunately, the banks aren't getting the deposits that they need, and it's causing huge sell-offs with them. And they're having to sell off things like their 10-year treasuries. When they sell those off, it kind of infuses the market and messes with inflation. And so we're just seeing a very temporary setback in what the rates are supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be going lower, but we haven't seen that just yet. But they don't want anybody to worry because it's still on the horizon, just not as quick as we had anticipated.
Okay. So, I mean, it's still supposed to, your prediction it's still going to come down, right?
Yeah. And, they're saying that even in June and July, those numbers, I have them written down here. So June 13th is the next one. Currently, the number that we're trying to compete with is 4.9. They're expecting it to go down. And July 12th, they're also looking for it to go down. So like I said, it's at 4.9 right now. Over the next 2 months, they're looking for it to go down to 3.5%. So that is huge for mortgage-backed securities.
Everyone who just bought a house in the last, year? Hasn't it been almost a year where it started going up a little bit?
Yes.
So last 6 months, whatever. It's a good time to talk to Carrie and get refinanced.
Yes. And even if you need, a lot of people are running up their credit cards right now too. And the credit card interest is way higher than it was. And so I can do a scenario to show you the amount that you're paying in credit card bills, even with the higher rate for your home, could still save you money.
Awesome.
People look at the rate too much and just think, oh my gosh, but you can wind up saving a couple of $100 or even just break even and not have the massive amounts of credit card debt.
Yep. I'm going to pay my last one off this month. I'm so excited.
Yay! That's always a very good feeling.
That one.
Yay.
Okay. So Jim, what are we talking about today? We're moving through our process.
Excuse me. Let me just piggyback off that just for a second. Okay. Kind of an interesting thing in my house. I have 3 kids in their 30s. My 3 adult kids. So they've really been taking an interest in how do we get started in a house. So one of the things I told them was we, really track rates, and that has to do with how much your mortgage is going to be per month. But I said, why don't you get ready? I mean, why don't you get pre-approved? Why don't you, and then find out exactly what you can do? So I would say too, in this time for people that are kind of in that category, make sure you go and find out what you can do. I know we've mentioned that before, but be ready when the opportunity comes and know what you can do.
And it's free to come talk to me.
Yep.
And it's free for me to put together numbers for you. It doesn't cost anything but time. And a lot of people hesitate to reach out because they feel like they're wasting my time. But to me, it is not a waste of time. I'd rather have you have the information so you can make the best decision for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know I've sent one of my kids too in the past, I believe. And I was just like, go talk to Carrie.
Yeah.
It's like, at least you get the knowledge. I mean, because, like when we talked about in the buyer series, that was one of the things that we just didn't even we just can't do it, and just assumed we couldn't do it when we probably could have. And our situation probably would have been a whole lot different today had we bought it way back when we should have. So it's a good, if you're even thinking about it, or even if it's something you want to do, it's totally a good time to do that. Good point, Jim.
Yeah.
Yes.
So today what we're doing, and just to let you know, we're still in the Sellers series. So we're doing everything pertaining to selling your house. So I won't review the whole thing, but if you haven't heard, make sure you sign into our program here and look at those. But today we're going over showing your house, and we have a little slideshow to show you on kind of the steps. Let's begin. You have 1 hour to showing. So what's going to happen is somebody's going to call and schedule a time to show your house. And so you want
Actually,
to
we have
get
10
it ready.
minutes. Sorry, we're going to start with the 10-minute one. Because that,
Okay.
sorry, not that 1 hour. We're going to do the 10-minute one.
Okay.
10
Good.
minutes to get my house ready.
Well, exactly. And you guys, we just talked about staging it. You got the outside ready. I mean, like, you probably brought in a professional to do some deep cleaning. You know, I mean, your house is like ready, but let's say you're still living there. So maybe you've got kids or dogs and they have toys out or whatever. You know, you get 10 minutes. You get to call and say, Brooke calls you and said, hey, we're going to be showing your house in 10 minutes. Or you get the showing time alert saying, hey, we're going to be there in like 10 minutes. Or we want to show it 10 minutes. What do? Like, you got to move fast, right? So you don't want to be slow. You got to move fast. So what do we do, Jim?
Okay. So here's some of the things, 1 through however many we have, 10. Turn on all the lights as you go through rooms. So that's a quick one.
And
Then
also
put anything.
Sorry, hold it. And open the windows too, because you want as much natural light in your home. So it's bright and inviting in, right? You don't want it all dark and, like creepy looking. You want it do that. So yeah, absolutely. That's good.
That's a really cool point, because when I came in the house that I'm in right now, that was one of the things, was there was so much light. It just made it feel alive. So I agree. Yep. But anything laying around in baskets, this goes in your car.
Yeah, take it, put it on your car on your way out, and take it with you so you can get all the stuff out there. Because you can always take the stuff out of the basket and put it away when you get home. But I mean, if you just kind of go whoosh, you know what I mean? It's quick and fast. We're talking about moving really fast. You got 10 minutes. All right, number 3.
So if you can do the dishes that fast, I'm a quick disher. I mean, I can do them quick.
Right. But you got a whole sink full of dishes. You might have to do something else. You might have to put them underneath in a container or something, or in a cupboard, or I don't know.
I think one of the things to consider there is to know that your house is on the market, and so try to keep things, fairly clean, so you don't have a ton of dishes. But
don't have a big party or anything the night before, because it'll be a big mess and you don't want to do that. No.
Yeah.
Go to other people's houses for parties.
Wash down kitchen countertops. Clean is such a big deal. Smelling good and clean is a big deal in showing your house. So wipe down bathroom sinks, tubs, and toilets. That's another really, really good one, just to show cleanliness, and it looks so much better.
Actually, hold on right there. So like with my kids, right? Because we on Saturdays, because I had 6 little kids running around at one point in my house and stuff. And we'd have like a Saturday where we'd go and do a bunch of really deep cleaning, and everybody had different areas to work on and stuff like this. But, I always tell the kids, like, you know what, when you walk out of the bathroom, just like Windex it off quick, like, you know what I mean? Clip your spotters. It really doesn't take that long. And if you've got multiple people there, even kids can do it, and just, it's fast, it's quick, it's easy, right? I mean, it doesn't need to take that long, because it's already cleaned. It's not like dirty clean. It's just like wipe it down quickly.
Exactly.
Sure. All right.
Exactly.
Continue on, Jim.
Now,
you're just great.
if you have boys, you're saying this all the time.
Yeah,
boys,
yeah. Right?
All toilet lids.
No. Niki has mostly boys.
5 of them.
So I grew up, there was 3 boys and 1 sister, so we heard that all the time.
Oh, yes, please wipe up the seats. Yes.
Empty all trash cans and take it out. This may sound really obvious, but it's good to hear this and good to do. Fluff pillows and
garbage. You don't want stinky garbage, especially like kitchen garbage, right? So
yeah.
You can dump all your stuff in one bag and take it out, and you'll have pretty much maybe a whole bag, right? But you don't want stinky garbage cans in the kitchen. You really want it to be like nice.
Yeah. Number 8, fluff pillows and make sure show towels are put up. I sold furniture for 8 years, and all day long we were fluffing pillows. And the reason is because it's first impression. So it doesn't matter if, it's 4:00 in the afternoon, that next person is the first person. And so it's important. Fluff pillows really make a difference in the furniture world. That's, it was a sin not to have that. You want to make it look sharp. So that's good.
And the show towels, it's like you don't want a bunch of I just got out of the shower and left my towel hanging around. You might have a basket again. You might throw those in your basket and take them with you, kind of thing. But you really want some newer, nice towels. You don't want yucky towels that, because again, you want to see nice. You want a nice crisp view when somebody walks in. And bathrooms and kitchens are really important. So you don't want dirty towels laying around. It's kind of nasty.
Good point.
Okay. All right. So now let's say we have an hour. Right, Jim? Yeah, a little bit longer.
clean.
You don't get to slow down. You don't get to slow down yet, but we have an hour. We have a little bit more time, so we can do a little bit more. So what are we doing, Jim?
So do everything on the 10-minute list. Vacuum carpet and hand surface floors. I think that's, I mean, these might sound obvious again, but I think that's super important to vacuum the carpet, make sure the floors are clean.
And you know what? You know those like little robo vacuums?
Yeah.
I love those things.
I saw that, yeah.
No, but if you got one of those, it takes about an hour and you just like hit it and go one on each level or whatever and like go. And, you know, I mean, if it's picked up and stuff, it'll just go do its stuff. It'd be awesome. And you wouldn't even have to do that. That's just like stepping on a button and then walking away.
Yeah.
It would work. But if not, you know, you do your hand thing, but still, right? Okay, good. Continue on. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, mopping these sticky spots. We were in a restaurant a little while ago, and it was kind of the floors on your feet. It was kind of,
it was like walking in honey or syrup or something. It was
almost
so
gooey or whatever, and it was just such a turn off.
And
I would say too, you walk across the floor and your feet are kind of sticking and making noise as you walk across. Not good. Yeah. So be great. Anything sticky. And then clear kitchen countertops, as we mentioned, and wipe down. That's part of the 10-minute list, but it's still important.
And talking about the kitchen countertops, I mean, you don't want a bunch of appliances out. You don't want to, you know, like, I mean, really try to clear it off, because people don't want to know what you have, like small possessions. They actually want to know what the house looks like. So they want to see the countertops, like, oh, are there any marks on the countertop and stuff like that. So it's really kind of important to make sure that they're really kind of clear, and you can, you know, it's a nice visual and it feels inviting. It's open. It's not cluttered. So again, you probably have already done this during the staging part, but I know over the course, you know, like as you're living in a house, you get things out and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe just, you know, as you're packing up already, I mean, you're actually getting stuff out of there and moving more and stuff out, but having just maybe, you know, a small thing, just little bits on there, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of a cleaning, a cleanliness thing, but when we clean our kitchen, we take all, you know, any toaster, make sure no toaster there, no mixer, no, I mean, we try to make it like a minimalist, and it looks so much better, more presentable.
All right. So we're halfway there. We got about half hour left. Now, what do we got to do, Jim?
Wipe down kitchen cabinets. So kitchen cabinets they can get a little bit grimy. They can get kind of dirty.
God, my kids steal stuff all the time and no one notices it but me. It drives me insane.
Or the knobs get food on them. They have stuff on their hands when they're opening the refrigerator door or the cabinet.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
And I would probably even add like your stainless steel appliances or your, you know, I mean, your stove and stuff. I mean, I would say try to even do those. I mean, and make sure that they're super clean, because again, you know, I mean, hopefully everybody's kind of doing that already, but I know our stainless, like you just said, the stainless steel refrigerator, you open, somebody walks by and touches it, and it's like you got fingerprints on it. So that might have to go more with the next one, but anyway.
Could I say too, I mean, any, like your main door, your entry door, or some, especially some of your kids' doors on the bedrooms, they can really, I mean, if you don't look at it for a while and then all of a sudden you look at it and you go, wow, it's gotten dirty, you know, the edges, those are something to clean up too. And you have a little bit more time. If you have more time, that'd be great to do.
I agree, especially the front door and fingerprints. I would check that too. I would add, actually, I'd probably one of the first things I'd add onto this list. I need to add it on there. So definitely, you guys make sure the front door doesn't have fingerprints all over it, whether it's puppy scratching at the door or their nose is bumping it or whatever. The front door is the first thing you see. So good point, Jim. I like that one.
All right. The wipe down all glass and mirrored surfaces. When the sun comes out like it is right now, and your windows are, all of a sudden the sun comes through your windows and you go, oh my God, it's really revealing. So to clean those would be amazing. It'd be great. It looks amazingly, so much better. So I like the no clean or dirty laundry out, clean or dirty.
Right. I mean, you don't want piles of clothes in there you're meaning to put away. I mean, you really just want to, again, you might use that bucket, or, you know, if you can't get to that point, I mean, you can always put it in a basket and put it in your car with you until you come back or whatever. And then you just have to put it away nicely again. But I mean, a couple laundry baskets I would have ready to go almost all the time. So that way you can just take it with you however you want to use them.
And Nikki, I think you could say too, we've seen both.
Yeah.
You know, when we're out there doing open houses or whatever, and I went into a house, I would never mention it, but I was kind of amazed that it wasn't more presentable.
Yeah.
And people made comments.
Well, a lot
So
of times if you have, like, for instance, maybe renters in and you're looking at a house like that,
yeah, that's good.
they're the renters. It's not that they're not clean people. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that though they're maybe don't want to sell, and so they're not taking those steps and stuff. But as you have buyers coming through, I mean, you kind of have to really like, okay, so this one might not be as pretty stage ready as something else that was whatever that's vacant, lived in or not lived in. So. But I mean, but if you're trying to sell your own house, and this is kind of, I guess, where maybe more to add is if it's you that's actually selling your house, you want to do these steps. You really do, because it really makes a difference.
Yeah. When the last one there, number 8, sweep the front entrance, looks inviting. One of the things I have is I have a blower, and I love to blow my driveway and my entry and everything, because and my deck. I mean, I actually like to do it because when I do it, it looks so fresh and it looks so clean. So,
and you guys, those blowers are super cool. My son I had like a electric one, and I'm always dragging the cords, and the cords it drove me crazy. I hated blowing for a long time, but I have one that has a battery now. It is the best one ever.
Yeah,
just say it. It's lighter. You just zoom, and you're done. I mean, it's like it's so quick.
I agree.
You just gotta make sure you got your battery charged at all times.
Yes, or have like 10 like we do.
Right, we did
it. Mine's gas, but I kind of feel like Tim the Toolman Taylor, so I kind of like my gas one because I like.
So okay, so we're doing showings now, and we've had our lockbox on, and we've got the safety and all that good stuff's going on with it, and now we've got some buyers interested in the house, and so we're going to start getting some offers in, right?
Yeah.
So let's move forward and keep talking just a little bit longer. We're not going to go a whole bunch into it, but we're going to touch on at least a little bit today and kind of talk about backwards a little bit, kind of going back to our goals of the sellers, right?
Yep.
So what would some of the goals of the sellers be? Let's kind of refresh everybody's mind, because maybe you're still kind of trying to figure out what your goals are. What could some be the goals?
Well, I think some people's goals are to, they're trying to move to they got a job transfer. Maybe they're trying to just really sell it quick. And, they're comfortable with the price that we've come up with, that we've agreed on, and they just want to get it sold and move on. So,
or maybe you just want money, or you just want lots of money. I want as much money as I can get.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you were saying though, too, it's like, it could be money. It could be the closing date. Right. And
the closing date.
So, I mean, like
exactly.
You said, you can sell it fast, or maybe you really don't want to rush and get out that fast. So, I mean, I had a client, that she had plenty of time. She was like, I could move tomorrow and I could move in 6 months, and any time in between would be great. So, she had that kind of goal, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of depends. What could be some other goals? I know home inspections are a big one. Like, I don't want to do any repairs. I mean, I've done everything I want to do to the house, and I don't want to do repairs. So that could be a goal. Like, I don't want to spend more time dealing with stuff.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. And
okay.
So in that case, the price will reflect that. But there are a lot of people that they don't want to go through or don't have the money to do all that.
Right.
So
anyway, so we get an offer in, and so we need to talk about review dates. So one of the goals might be when we originally sit down with you would be, as a seller, would be like, so do you want to see all the offers when they come in, and like look at each one like upon receipt, or do you want to put a review date that's going to be, I want all the offers that are going to come in by this date, right?
Yeah, exactly. And multiple offers.
Benefits to each of those. It depends on what the goals are, right? Though.
Yeah. Like we said. So upon receipt is just when somebody comes, they present an offer, and that's the first one.
And you don't have to just like take that one. You could say, I needed a better closing date, or I want the full price, right? So, or I don't want to have to do inspections, and so it could be like, that's not the right offer, and you go to the next upon receipt. So, but it could be just looking at them like that,
right?
Or you could have a really hot house that, like, all of a sudden you get 4 or 5 coming in all at once, right? And
exactly.
In that case, it might be better to put a review date and time and say, I want to wait and look them all at once and figure out which makes the most sense for me.
Right. I put something down here. I said we need to maximize his or her profit, but minimize the chance it will fall through. And so there's kind
Yes.
of that balance of, in looking at those offers. And, again, you want to maximize the profits. You want to do the best you can in terms of the price. But sometimes, waiting and multiple offers of taking the highest price, and we covered this before, but then you risk that price going higher than the actual appraisal value. So there's a lot to look at in evaluating those offers.
And also lenders too. I mean, I know that, one of the reasons I love working with Carrie, not only is she an amazing lender, but she's also local to our area. She knows, she knows the community. She's a great resource. I mean, you can go sit down meet with her, talk to her in person and say, I need help doing this, or I'm curious about this, or tell me more how this would work, or, what else would help me get into this house. And I like the fact that she's here. But there are some other lender, and she's also very communicative, and she responds, which I like. So like when I call Carrie, I get call back like right away. And I know she does the same for her clients and everyone else too. But there's some lenders that don't do that, and they do have a reputation around the area. I kind of dealt with one of those not too long ago here.
And if I can say, another strong thing that I can do as a lender is to call the listing agent and advocate for the person that is putting in that offer and saying, this is a really strong borrower. They have excellent credit. They have funds in the bank. They're quick to respond. They're super motivated. And it's my job to create that strong profile as far as the lending portion goes. Right. Because you're right. There are some companies that have a less reputable name. And yep. So their offers aren't going to get accepted as easily as somebody with a better reputation.
Right. And because the last one, it was all great until something happened, and like zero response to, it wasn't even just to the listing side. It was to the buyer side too. Ooh. And it was like, we just could not get an answer. The guy still hasn't called back. so and you can't mess around with timeframes and stuff like that. It's not, both parties were working through it, but just zero response. So it is really important who you choose for your lender, and who, as a listing broker, when I'm sitting down with my clients, and my cousin was just going through this too. She's like, I had several different offers in her house. She's in Arizona, so I'm kind of hearing about it secondhand, so I think I can talk about it. But she had several different offers in, and, but that's what they did. They talked about, the lender's reputation. They talked about what qualifications, how much money they're putting down. And that's a huge factor in what they're going to accept as far, it may not always be the best money. It might be somebody has, higher money, like Jim said, it might not appraise. And you want a broker who's going to say, it's probably not going to go that high. So there's different things. There's different.
And that was the risk of falling through, because you don't want to get it to the point where all of a sudden we've spent, quite a bit of time, and all of a sudden it falls through because, it was just maybe the offer was too high, which sounds bad, but.
Right. And I do, as far as calling lenders and stuff, as a listing broker, I definitely call the lenders, and I'm just like, hey, they can't give all the information, but they can say, yeah, they're, they really are, I've ran their credit. They, they're strong. They've got enough down payment to handle what you're saying they need to do. They've got that in the bank. They're covered here. And, it's really important to work with a lender that you feel comfortable with and that has a good reputation, like Carrie, right?
Yeah. Hey, Niki, in reviewing those offers, what are some of the contingencies that we would come across?
So, that's a good question. So I actually there's a spreadsheet. It's for like multiple offers. And so it'll have your price. It'll have like who the lender was. It'll talk about when the closing date is. It will talk about there's an inspection. If, just any other like things that are, if it's like a home contingency, that will be a home contingency in there. And, as you go through it with your seller, when you get to that point and you've got multiple offers, if you have one, for instance, that need to sell their house before they can do that. So the closing dates, 45 days or 60 days out, that might not work with the goals of the seller. I mean, the seller wants to sell their house, and then they have to be someplace in the next 30 days. And that's usually what closing takes, sometimes earlier, but usually it's around 30 days by the time it gets to all the parties and stuff that needs to do. It could be a home inspection. Like, again, we talked about earlier, I don't want to spend all that, time repairing all this stuff. I've done everything I want to do to this house, and I priced it with my broker as is. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to do anything more to it. So, and you kind of go through that with the sellers, and, that's what you need to do.
Right.
They make up their mind based on their goals.
Yeah. Good.
So, anything else about offers I'm forgetting today, Jim?
The only thing, I don't know if we want to get there's sometimes you can put a backup offer, but, multiple offers, backup offers. And that
does work.
Yeah.
That does work. Yep. So, and also, the other thing too, as far as like the financing is like we talked about this, and I know in the buyer series, pre-approvals versus pre-qualifications. Carrie, just so I don't mess it up, pre-approval is the best one, right?
It is, yes, because that means that it's
pre-approval would be even better, right?
Oh yeah, we have ones that you can be fully underwritten, and so it's an approval. We're just waiting for an appraisal and for the title to be ordered in the client's name. But definitely a pre-qualification, I don't even understand how someone would want to even give out a pre-qualification, because it's just based on information. There's no credit pulled. You haven't run it through our automated underwriting system. So you definitely want a pre-approval, because all of those things have been done. We're verifying funds. We have bank statements, pay stubs, W-2s, all of that. We have a full package.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Carrie, if it's fully underwritten like that and it's a pretty clean deal, what are some of the ranges of how soon it could close? Without
it really depends on the time that it takes to get an appraisal back. We can close it in 7 days. If you put a rush on an appraisal, sometimes the appraiser can get it back within 24 hours, but it just really depends on the capacity of the appraisers at the time. During the housing boom last year, appraisers couldn't keep up. There were 14-day periods just to even get an appraisal done, if not longer. So it really just depends on how fast we can have title and escrow give us documents back, get an insurance binder, and make sure that we have the appraisal completed, because all of those things have to be done, and an initial closing disclosure has to be sent out before we can go in for clear to close.
Okay.
So there is time. I mean, it's probably about 2 weeks. I mean, you could literally almost push it through if it's 2 weeks, right? If it was really rushed, and if there was an inspection, there's probably no inspection included in that one. You're probably pretty much buying it as is, it's just appraisal and getting it done. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to go outside and go kayaking.
Yay. Have
fun. Me, as the sun's out, it's going to be hot. Can't wait. So I'll probably be in Paulsbo. Keyport Paulsbo. I'll send pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us and for keeping it real with Niki and Jim. And we will see you next Wednesday at 1:30. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you can keep updated on all the latest, greatest things happening with selling your home. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I'll get